this speech is not some sappy love story that maybe some of you are hoping, but it's actually a speech about a person who used to hate camping, but now has changed his or her mind. And this person is me. And this is a testimony to how us as humans have to give everything a try and a second chance, maybe even a third chance, and have the ability to fall in love with something. So when I was young, I hated camping. Just the thought of camping and having to live outside with the bugs and the heat under a small tent in an uncomfortable pillow and blanket, just the thought of that just made me hate camping. And I didn't really go camping. I had the opportunity to, but I never went. I had a lot of friends join the Boy Scouts. Have you heard of Boy Scouts before? Yeah. And raise your hand if you've been camping before. All right, a lot of people, good. So they joined the Boy Scouts because they like to be outdoors. They want to be in the woods. They want to camp and they want to learn how to build a fire and cook their own food and be hungry and look for their own food. And for me, that wasn't very pleasing. I grew up in a restaurant where food was always available. And if I was hungry, all I had to do was order something and the food would be served. So camping was something that I kind of despised and I never really liked. And I was proud to when people asked about camping that I say, it's not for me. I don't like it. There's no TV, there's no electricity, there's no roof, and you could get eaten by bears. And so for a long time, even after becoming an adult, I never cared for camping. I did go a few times as an adult, but those kind of camping trips were also known as glamping. Glamping is glamorous camping, not true camping. So what did I think? I said, okay, so what is this camping like? My cousins invited me, and I said, okay, what is it like? And he goes, well, there's a huge wooden platform where you can set up a tent, and there's amenities there, there's bathrooms, there's even a restaurant on the other side there you can go to. And I heard all this, and I said, okay, not bad, but I still don't want to live in a tent. And he said, well, if you want to spend a little bit more, there's a wood cabin right on the site, and you can stay in the cabin. And in the cabin, there are beds and bathrooms and pillows and everything that you need. And I said, yes, I'll go. So I went, did the whole thing. They made food. Everything was good, but it wasn't really camping. And so I still, even after that trip, never really dug camping, because to me, that wasn't camping, and it was the whole concept of living in the wild and roughing it. That is real camping. And I talked to Paul before, and Paul said, you don't know how to camp. I'm from South Africa, like he always says.
I am, it's true.
I grew up in the woods with the lions and tigers.
No tigers in Africa.
Oh, tigers, elephants, whatever. And he's laughing at me like, hey, you don't know camping, you only know glamping, right? And I wanted to prove him wrong.
Did you?
So I had a friend, my friend Victor, who's a motorcycle buddy, had invited me to a camping trip. And he invited me maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times, always turned him down. But because of this one time, this thing that Paul said, I wanted to give it a chance. And the thing that really pulled me in was that Victor said, bring the whole family. And guess what? Us men will ride the motorcycle there, and the women and the kids can take the car and drive there comfortably. And I said, okay, let's do it. So we packed up the car. I packed up my motorcycle. I have one of these adventure bikes where you can have boxes on the back and you can strap things. I bungee corded the sleeping bags. It was a full motorcycle. And I went to Nanhao, which is a region on the east coast, just south of Yilan, south of Suao. And we rode all the way out there. It takes about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. It was raining. It was miserable already. And I go, this is a big mistake. Finally got to the campsite, middle of nowhere, cell phone reception, not great. And I said, oh God, is it too late to go home? We should just head back. So I got there, but guess what? The car already arrived, and a lot of the things were starting to be unpacked. And so we said, okay, let's start setting up. We set up the tent. Right? We had a car tent that attaches to the back of the car, which was very nice. And then we had our teepee tent, which looks like an Indian teepee tent. And that was very easy to set up. And after we set up the tents, we made the kitchen area, we set up an area where we can eat. There was a sense of accomplishment. And I felt, wow, we did this. I helped do this. I had no idea how to do all this stuff before. And now I feel like a Boy Scout, and I can do it. So I felt kind of proud of myself. Now, the thing about the camping that I really didn't like was the food as well. So that night, Victor, who's a great cook, prepared all this delicious food on the open fire, hanging steaks over the fire. It was amazing. We cooked it up, ate it all. The next day, we went to the river. We skipped rocks. Everyone went swimming. I said, nah, it's okay. So I didn't swim, and then I sat and then I walked around on the rocks, and then I slipped and I fell in, and I said, I guess I'm swimming. And I loved it. And I remember there was a time when I was swimming on the river, and there was nobody around. It was just me and nature. And I felt, wow, this is truly, truly amazing. How magnificent and grand and splendid wow, the mountain was. It was humongous. And I just felt like I had no phone, I had no pressures from work. It's just me, this cool river, and the mountains, and the birds. I am a walking testimony that we should give everything a second chance. I felt there was beauty in the change and growth in myself. I felt that nature was a bridge for everyone to connect with me and my family and my friends. And so don't let it be too late, because it's never too late to fall in love. Toastmaster.